Taylor Fritz backed to disrupt Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner after one major change. In the glitz and grind of men's tennis, where Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner have rapidly become the gold standard of the next generation, Taylor Fritz's name has often hovered in that liminal space, too good to be underestimated. Yet not quite in the same breath as the European prodigies. However, with every year, the American number one has been steadily adding new layers to his game. Be it his venomous serves or powerful forehands, Fritz has often been seen utilizing his various weapons to steadily climb up the ladder in the men's singles ranking. Currently ranked 4th in the world, Taylor Fritz has a win-loss record of 49-18 this season, and he has already won 2 titles, Boss Open, Eastbourne Open, in 2025. However, despite all these successes in this season and also in the last few years, Fritz has struggled to bring out his A-game against the top 2 in men's tennis. He has a 1-4 record against both Alcaraz and Sinner. He last met Sinner at the 2024 ATP Finals, and in that match, the Italian defeated him in straight sets. However, Fritz and Alcaraz have faced each other 3 times this year, and his only victory against the Spaniard came at the Laver Cup. Currently, if we examine the ATP singles rankings, Fritz is 6,545 points behind the world number 1, Carlos Alcaraz. These numbers make us wonder if the American superstar will ever match the levels of Sinkerez. Well, in a recent conversation at the Inside in Tennis podcast, one of the top performance experts, Mark Kovacs, highlighted a very interesting observation about Taylor Fritz. He said, Taylor Fritz is probably the best example of someone who, at 15-16, was not a very good mover. He'll admit that. I mean, he was in that group of great players that he came up with, Francis, Tiafoe, Riley, Opelka, Tommy, Paul, with Stefan Kozlov. There were a bunch of players. He was the lowest when it comes to those physical speed, agility-type tests, and every year he's made a concerted effort to get better at that aspect of his game, and he's now knocking on the door. After having watched Taylor Fritz improve so much in the last few years, it made Kovacs say, if you're gonna say who's the player to challenge Sinner and Alcaraz right now, Taylor's right up there. I mean, he's that 3rd or 4th guy that is knocking on the door, and that's a testament to his competitiveness and his desire to be great, which it really is. And his team. He's had a very consistent team for a number of years now, and they've been working on that consistently, and you see it. I mean, he's performing at a really high level. In 2025, Fritz's movement and stamina caught the eyes of several pundits and peers alike. Gone are the days when long rallies tilted against him. His ability to absorb pace, recover between points, and sustain energy deep into matches has improved dramatically. So, while Alcaraz dazzles with his fearless aggression and Sinner dominates with clinical precision, Fritz is quietly carving out his own identity, measured, methodical, but increasingly menacing. His improved fitness allows him to execute his aggressive baseline play with consistency, and his serve, always a weapon, now comes with the assurance that he can sustain the pressure point after point. The shift also reflects a broader evolution in tennis. Physical conditioning is no longer supplementary, it's the foundation upon which champions are built. And Fritz, long praised for his talent but occasionally for his endurance, seems determined to close that gap once and for all. But can he really close the gap with Alcaraz and Sinner? Taylor Fritz shares his thoughts about the dominance of Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner. Taylor Fritz's best record at the Slams came last year when he reached the final of the US Open. But unfortunately for the American, he was defeated by Jannik Sinner in straight sets. This year, although he made it to the SF of the Wimbledon Championships, his journey fell short at the hands of Carlos Alcaraz. So, these two have been the biggest hurdles when it comes to Fritz's chances at the major tournaments in the last few years. According to tennis legend Pam Shriver, the Sinkeraz effect has resulted in an unwanted predictability. So, according to her, I kind of think the men's game needs a 3, 4, or 5 ranked player to really step up. In that same episode of the Inside In podcast, she talked about Fritz, and at the same time, she also made a pinch gesture to highlight the small gap between Sinkeraz and Taylor Fritz by saying, Taylor Fritz, which he is this far away. Can Fritz bring that unpredictability in men's tennis that Shriver has been looking for? In a previous interview, Taylor Fritz admitted that he can't rely on Alcaraz Sinner's absence to win a Grand Slam. Talking about his incredible run at the 2024 US Open, where he defeated the likes of Kasper R.